If you were the strongest superhero in the entire world who had the power to save the planet and decimate any foe with one punch, tell me, how much money do you think you would have in your bank account? 100,000? A million? A billion? Well, if you're Saitama from One Punch Man, we find out in this bonus chapter named Things One Cannot Buy that it might be a little lower than you think. Strap in, because this little story has laughs, a bank robbery, and wholesomeness all in one, and we'll be enjoying it together in today's video. Hit the subscribe button if you want One Punch Man content in your life, and now it's off to the bank. The story takes place sometime after the defeat of the Deep Sea King, somewhere around the time Saitama was or is about to be promoted to B class, and starts with Saitama finding out that his bank account only contains 20 yen, which is essentially around 10 cents. I don't know about you guys, but hearing that would probably have given me a heart attack in that position. Clearly, you can tell this woman is not impressed. The way she's got her eyes closed with that slight expression like she's thinking, this penniless slaphead. And Saitama himself seems accepting of the result, but understandably pretty disappointed too. Cut to the next scene and we find Saitama checking out a vending machine in a nearby park, weighing up how much spare change he has against what he wants to buy from the selection. As it turns out, Saitama's got more money in his pockets than he does in his bank account. If we're all certain of one thing as viewers, it's that no one's ever going to accuse Saitama of abusing his power for money. And unfortunately, the drink he did want, a red bean jelly cider, is depressingly out of his pay grade, while the corpse of a monster he just took out lays dead behind him. To make himself feel better, Saitama surmises that the drink probably tastes like crap anyway, so nothing lost there. Or at least that's what he said. Now he's scrounging around for leftover change in the machine and even beneath it, you know, really proving to us that he's not bothered about this drink. As he's doing so, two heroes stumble upon the dead monster to their surprise and responsibly decide to caution it off. And good thing too, since some kids come by soon after to show praise for the duo of heroes. It's then revealed that we're looking at two C-class heroes known as Funeral Suspenders and D-Pad, with the latter being moderately higher ranked within the class and more popular among the kids. I don't know about you guys, but when I was a child, I literally loved any character that had a mask. Any character with a mask on somehow became 3 times as cool as anyone who didn't. It's probably easy to guess who my favorite wrestler in the WWE was as a kid based on that information. Young me aside, I definitely think Funeral Suspenders is the cooler looking of the two though. This guy's got style. And as for the other one, unlike Saitama, D-Pad seems to have some money since he buys the canned drink Saitama wanted without a second thought. Naturally, this perks up Saitama's attention, who's watching from the bench. Once D-Pad gulps it down, that drink must have had a side effect of delusion, since it makes the masked man think he's turned into Prime LeBron, going for a 3-pointer right after. It's at this point where we learn a little about the pay structure within the Hero Association. You get paid at the end of every month based on hero ranking. Hero deeds determine your overall placement. However, the point distribution is confidential to the board, which sounds kinda fishy at first, but honestly it may be a good thing, since if everyone knew what got the most points, some heroes may start trying to cheese the meta, so to speak, instead of just doing whatever heroic duties need doing the most. It also goes on to state that reports and witness accounts are being taken into consideration by the board too, but the rankings may not always reflect results accurately. Regardless, as to not get on the bad side of the association or risk a reputational hit, no hero really complains about it anyway, and that's why even underpaid heroes don't speak out on it. And now that we've found out that D-Pad's basketball attack potency does not scale to the NBA verse, since the can did not make the target, the C-class duo hope their little act might help bump their ranking slightly while Saitama observes the empty can. Clearly, he still has this drink on his mind, while the narrator laments how the Hero Association's pay process is one of the reasons why Saitama never has a lot of money. And speaking of money, Saitama returns to the bank, telling the bank employee that he's 10 yen short. For context again, this is you walking into a bank and saying to the staff that you need 10 cents. Even Saitama's got a bead of embarrassment sweat upon his forehead as he attempts to explain how he's asking the bank for spare change from his account so he can order from a vending machine. But before Saitama can rob himself of his financial dignity, a bank robbery occurs instead. With the security guard dropping faster than The Last of Us Season 2's ratings, sorry Neil, it's revealed that the notorious Cow Stomach gang, led by the A-class criminal Bulbul, is here to snatch some cash. And while I do love me some cow print clothing, it's usually on the opposite gender. It only gets worse as they take an innocent child hostage, gaining Saitama's attention, and even better, the attention of D-pad and funeral suspenders. Yeah, I know what you're going to say, viewer. You've never felt safer. Funeral suspenders snaps his suspenders into place, and D-pad lays the Lord down. But Bulbul is not interested as he sends the goon squad toward the arriving hero duo. D-pad leaps over a bladed attack and practically fame asses the henchman from above before laying the smackdown with some heavy punch combinations to seal the deal. However, with his back exposed, another goon comes in for a surprise attack, but that's where Funeral Suspenders jumps in to bury the opposition with a swift kick while D-pad ducks down. You gotta love how in sync these two are. D-pad then takes hold of his partner's suspenders and using his own enhanced strength proceeds to swing him around like a human-shaped flail, wiping out multiple robbers at once with an awesome team move. You have to admit, these guys have got style, especially for C-Class. I think this moment here is a great example of how One Punch Man could have so many exciting little stories outside of the main narration if they ever wanted to focus on the lower ranks. I've always said how One Punch Man has so much potential throughout its entire world, and how fun it'd be to see lower ranked heroes explored more. Do you guys agree? Let me know in the comments and like the video if so. But while things are looking good, we're reminded how good things come to an end when Bulbul steps in personally and puts his A-class power on display, wiping both heroes out in one powerful rush. With the money bagged up, Bulbul leaves behind the beaten members of his squad while the rest follow along, even going as far as to kidnap the child hostage as a deterrent. Driving off, it looks like they'll be on the road to a getaway, or at least it did look that way until the driver informed the boss man that he's actually not in control of the vehicle anymore and the steering wheel isn't working, and somehow they're heading back into town rather than away from it. As the gang look on in puzzlement, it's clear to everyone outside of the car that some mysterious bald dude is carrying the car on his back while running it to a destination of his own choosing. I think an underrated comedy moment here is one of the robbers telling the driver to hit the brake, which is so funny when accompanied by this visual. Moments later, Saitama tosses the vehicle in front of the vending machine from earlier. Knowing this area is quiet and out of the way, it's no wonder he chose here, since it'd keep whatever would happen away from civilians and collateral damage possibly. Naturally, the cow stomach gang are not too happy with this turnout, and A-class criminal Bulbul is looking like he's in the mood to hand out another one of those infamous bull rushes. Saitama then states that his important money is included with that bank's money and that he can't let him have it, which is actually hilarious when you realize that Saitama is including his 10 cents worth, which could barely jingle a pocket with the mountains of cash belonging to the bank. With that said though, he's still right in principle, so I can't knock the guy. Money's money, and you should never let anyone take yours without permission. Once the gang's boss makes the mistake of rushing Saitama, the fight is over in the blink of an eye, and Saitama is now faced with bags full of stolen cash. His brain on overdrive while trying to think of exactly how to handle this situation the right way. And that's when a young voice calls out to him, thanking him for saving him from those mean robbers. The young kid who was taken hostage. As Saitama checks up on him, thankfully we find out that he's unharmed. Turns out the kid was raised right too, since he says his mother told him he's supposed to thank those who help him. And in this situation, the adorable little guy takes out his allowance and freely offers it to Saitama. He knows it's not much, but it's all he has, and so he wants our beloved bald hero to have it. What a great kid. He even renders Saitama speechless for a moment at the display. And of course, we know Saitama. He took the money, but he never had any intention to keep it, since as soon as he graciously accepted the reward, he handed it right back to the young lad and kindly told him to use it for something more important, putting this boy above himself once again after having already saved them. Even practically penniless and unable to get the things he wants, keeping a child's money is something Saitama would never do. And I love that shot of the vending machine framing the panel as they finish their conversation, signifying how that drink he'd been obsessing over was worthless in comparison to the happiness of a child who's just been through something terrifying. Cut ahead to Saitama retelling the story to Genos, and then worryingly asking Genos if he comes across as someone who looks poor. Genos is trying to figure out how to tell Saitama that the kid offered him money not because he looked poor, but because he helped him out, or at least that's how it come across to me in the panel. But then goes on to inform Saitama that he managed to order him that coveted drink he kept wanting to try all chapter long. And not only that, but he managed to get him a whole box of it too. Good thing comes to those who wait, right? This prompts Saitama to say Genos is so rich, which probably highlights how bad Saitama may be with money if he thinks someone is rich if they can buy a box of canned drinks without issue. Unfortunately though, after all of that, Saitama thinks the drink tastes terrible. I guess he was right all along near the start of the chapter. Sometime after, Saitama runs into Moomin Rider, the C-class GOAT, and while he was looking for some way to get rid of all of those extra drinks, he manages to offload them to a thirsty Moomin Rider who's been out patrolling so diligently. Today, the drinks were on Saitama, but pedaling became tougher with so many drinks for Moomin Rider to ride around with. Overall, a really fun chapter which I was happy to revisit with you all. I like how we got to see C-class heroes having their time to shine in a small but cool fight scene. I enjoyed the ridiculous but charming dilemmas Saitama found himself in, and most of all, I loved the heartwarming interaction between Saitama and the young boy he saved from the bank robbers, which showed how Saitama is as thoughtful as he is strong. Thank you for watching. Be sure to like the video and let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. It's been fun as always, and I'll see you guys on the next one.